No, not today, not ever. Well, hey there. Welcome back. You may not like what I'm about to tell you, but I feel very compelled to do so. I've done 2 episodes, to my knowledge, on large language models, ChatGPT, that sort of thing. When I first started using it and it was all the rave, I did discover what I thought was a fatal flaw, and I needed to bring that to light. I have watched how everyone around me in every sector of business has started to rely on it for various tasks that I think are not just mundane, but very accomplishable without involving a large language model. I've started to notice posts and emails, even from people I know personally, that I know they didn't write. I know that they basically crammed it through ChatGPT, and the result was what I'm seeing. And all this time I've had a belief without evidence, and now I have the evidence. There's a new MIT study making the rounds, and although it wasn't a massive sampling of people, the sampling of people, which I believe was 54 subjects, drove a certain point home for me. These 54 subjects were separated into 2 groups, one that was using ChatGPT for the kind of things that you might be using it for, and one that wasn't. And these people were given EEGs, and basically that's a scan of their brain to show activity in various areas. What they found in a nutshell was that ChatGPT is potentially and probably harming your ability to learn, your ability to reason. We can mundanely pass things off to someone else or to a robot or an LLM, and when we do that, we don't deeply consider it. We just say, okay, I'll just have it do that. That's enough. My involvement in ChatGPT and Gemini and so forth has been early, relatively speaking, and thorough. I have researched and used it for things to test it and for data reconciliation, if you will. In other words, giving it some crazy random data and saying, hey, can you format this for me, and so forth. I have used it for the kind of things that I was typically writing little mini scripts and programs to do for myself. Just recently, I had to take a small spreadsheet of list of people who attended a seminar, and I said, take all the emails and just string them together separated by commas, which of course I could then use to send out an email. That wasn't a handoff of reasoning. That was, I'm going to have this mundane cut and paste task. Can you just do it all at once, please? As someone who writes, I have not and will never use an LLM to write for me. I have never used it to write a single word for me in any of my books, any of my podcast episodes, any of my articles. The only thing I've ever had it do is suggest SEO titles for things, which it typically gets wrong. Recently, I spent almost a week creating a system that used a local language model, meaning, yes, I have one installed on my computer, to then create things for me that are SEO related. When I was polled and asked about including my books in an AI training program, I vehemently said, no, not today, not ever. Humans have a fear of AI taking over things. People have this notion that AI will grow stronger and stronger and then become sentient and then decide it wants to get rid of humans because they're illogical and silly biological units. The FERMI paradox challenges us and makes us think as to why aliens haven't contacted us if life is so prevalent in the universe. One of the solutions says that all races, beings, aliens have to pass through what's called the Great Filter, that all civilizations come upon something, a step in their evolutionary process, that they have to make it through to reach the starfaring stage, meaning for them to reach out to the stars, which we aren't at yet. We just have liquid-fueled rockets, but to get to the star stage and reach out in a way that we would notice them, they have to pass the filter. And there are some conjecture that says, well, the filter is, nuclear war or something even worse, in which they seem to always wipe themselves out or something. A more popular recent one is that all civilizations basically start to develop AI like we're developing now, and that the AI eventually just wipes them out. But My dire warning for you is this. Before AI becomes this super intelligent, hyper-aware being and decides to pass judgment on the human race as a whole and weigh us and find us wanting and say, no, thank you, we don't need that. Thank you for bringing me into existence. Your job is done. Before that happens, something far worse and far more prevalent is going to happen. And that is that, along with social media draining our batteries, separating us from people, causing rage, anxiety, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, the ubiquity of AI is what's going to be our downfall. The inability for us to learn and express ourselves without having AI shove itself into our lives, wanting to summarize our emails or correct our grammar or read something for us and give us the gist of it, or suggest some fun titles for articles, and the 1,000 other ways that AI is installed on your PC, on your phone, and every piece of technology that you have now. And yes, they have toasters with AI built into it now. That is going to be our downfall. Because as the MIT study now proves, our deeper learning is going to be affected. And this addictive thing that is ubiquitous, present in every piece of our life, and every time we attempt to communicate, the lazy part of us, or the unicorn, if you're reading my latest book, that pulls us to the pleasure of saying, oh, well, this will only take a few seconds. I'll just have it summarize the article. I'll just have it summarize this email from my boss. I don't actually need to read that or learn from it. I don't have to really strategize here. I'll just have AI lend a helpful hand. That suppression and retarding of the growth of our brains is what's going to be our downfall. It's going to become a filter. If it isn't already there for you, it's going to become a filter between you and those you communicate with. How many times have you seen an email that you know ChatGPT wrote? How many times have you seen an email and had Gemini offer to summarize it for you? How many times have you composed a reply to an email only to find Gemini suggesting what you actually should be saying? And again, this is not an infinitely evil, all-knowing AI controlling your life. This is a ubiquitous set of LLMs that are in place right now, that have leaked into our lives, that are tempting us to do the easy thing. The easy thing of going, sure, summarize the email. Oh, okay, sure, I'll take that as a response. I don't really need to compose anything. It's just to this vendor. It's just to my boss or whatever. I don't really need to think hard on that. Aha. It's the I don't need to think hard on that, which is the problem. Like any muscle, our brains need to be exercised. Various areas of our brains need to be exercised. Sometimes we need to figure something out, even if it is fairly mundane. Sometimes we need to think on our own. And as the MIT study proved, people who don't really think on their own find it very difficult to remember something they just did. Did you not find your use of ChatGPT addictive? Did you not use it and go, well, why? Why is this even free? Wow, this is great. Think of all the work it's saving me. It is, and it's saving your brain work. And when your brain saves work, it doesn't compute. Neural pathways don't get used. Think about brain fog that you've had. Think about coming back from a vacation for some people in which they're completely disoriented and go, oh, wow, this was a tough first day. And imagine that happening to you every day. So my dire warning to you is, if you must use it, understand that it should be something that's used as a tool to help you with mundane tasks that you already know how to do that are incredibly tedious. Everything else should be all you. Thank you. Take care of yourself.
Living life every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days.
I want to announce that my new book, my 10th, is out. It's called Because, the fundamental psychological building blocks that enable you to, or prevent you from, accomplishing anything, everything, and nothing. Check it out on Amazon. It's only $9.99.